Hi, and welcome to the little intro video on how to use the Jam with Cam resources. Before we get started, let me just make my screen just a little bit smaller because I want to show you more what's on here than looking at me. You could just click Start Course and go from the very beginning to the end. That would work, and you'd be able to see your progress. But I think for most learners, you've decided that you want to kind of take charge of your own learning and learn things in an order that makes sense to you as it relates to certain songs that matter that you're trying to learn how to perform. So if that's the case, then I'll just show you some of these categories that are going to be here. Now, as I'm showing you this screen, this is how it looks right now near the beginning of my journey presenting all this material. The general layout of this will not change very much. The only thing that might change is some of these categories that you see in here. There may be a few added as new students come online and decide, hey, I need help with a certain topic and it's not in there yet. So we'll just create a category that helps you. Near the bottom, you'll notice the Song Vault. A lot of people will probably spend most of their time in here because they just want to get going with the songs that they've requested lessons about. So the Song Vault is where most of you will spend your time. And the Song Vault, as of this video being made, that's what we've got available right now in a few categories. It hasn't been anybody request a country song yet, but that's probably going to change. Anyway, this probably will be bigger as you log in and take a look at content. The content videos are here just for you to be shown everything you need to know as far as the chords go for any of these songs. And sometimes we have to give you a little bit of training on the melodic things that are being played in these songs as well. There's always going to be something that helps you with the rhythm because we want you to be able to play along with the actual recording. And you'll notice in my way of thinking that I generally try to teach people to use the recordings of the song as your metronome so that you play along with something that feels more natural than using a clicking metronome. I still recommend using a metronome maybe later on if you own one, but for my purposes here, the videos will encourage you to play along with the original recording so that you get those subtle nuances of what it's like to play along with other humans. And I think we assume that professional recordings are going to be on a really stable click track. And so by learning how to play in step with them, you're already going to be training yourself to play on the beat. And so that's kind of how we've approached that particular topic. Now, I want to go through a few of the other categories that are in here and explain why they're there and why they will be of benefit to you. Obviously, if you're looking at the intro, that's in this category right here. And hopefully you would have clicked there to find the video that you're watching now. The chord interpretation is the first category that I recommend starting with. The reason for that is if you want to learn a bunch of music quickly, the fastest way to do it is to find and or create a chord chart where you've got the words of the song and then the chords are written above in order that they are occurring in the song. And so to be able to interpret what those chords mean, you need to know the information in this category. So we start off with the very basic lesson. At first, we just teach major, minor, and the types of sixth chord that there is. There's only 4 types that are covered in that one. And then and so forth down the line here. As other people request more songs and different types of harmonies are taught, you probably will see this chord interpretation will grow as well. This is just what we have as of right now. Some of the videos aren't even created yet because I'm just trying to keep ahead of my students at the time that this is being shown you. But this is a place where I hope you spend some time learning what those symbols mean. And just a quick little plug right in here about using what we call musical shorthand. A lot of chord symbols are written in a shorthand so that they don't have to take up very much horizontal space, because as they're writing the chords above the words, sometimes there's really quick changes, and if the chord names are really long, it would become really confusing as to where they fit in. So we do use a bit of a shorthand with these just to try to keep those as succinct and as brief as possible, and I do talk about that in these videos so that you'll be learning this the right way. Okay. Keyboard familiarity. This is probably not relevant for people who've already had experience playing a lot of music by sight and they kind of know where to put their fingers, they know their scales and that kind of thing. You might not even need to spend much time in that category if you're an experienced player. But if you're not an experienced player, then I highly recommend using these lessons that teach you kind of how to get your fingers used to playing in certain keys, and using, whether it's all white notes or which black notes are being used in each key. The videos in this category are excellent for helping you with that. There's some ear training activities that we're going to be in here. Now, I don't know if I have any in here yet. I don't. But at the time that you watch this, hopefully there'll be a few videos in there where there's just some drill and practice that help you. I'll show you the notes, and then suddenly I'll have the screen covered, and you have to keep going and see how good you are at predicting where the melody went using your piano. And then there's another activity bank right here, our ear training activities without the piano, where you don't use your piano to try to figure out what the notes are. You try to do it by hearing and thinking of the spatial relationships between the notes, what the chords sound like. And again, you'll be shown something. You'll always have a good starting point, and then we let you hear something else. The screen will be covered, and you got to go, oh, where did it go? And that might sound a little daunting. Don't worry about it. This is actually a great drill and practice strategy that will help you to be able to listen to any kind of music that you love and go, oh, I wish I knew how to do that. The skills in the ear training activities are going to help you to be able to pick out those songs. Over time, you'll be able to recognize progressions and bass lines and melodies and be able to replicate them with your fingers. But we've got to start somewhere and teach you some easy ones first, work our way up to things that are a little bit more challenging later on. And so that's what's going to be in those two categories. There is some videos that will help with some drill and practice. I've devoted one entire category to chord progressions. If that's a new term for you, I'll quickly explain. A chord is just a series of notes that all sound at the same time. They sound like they belong, but progressions are where we take chords that repeat over and over again. For example, we might have C, A minor, F, and G, and then have that repeat over and over again. We would call that a progression. That's just one example. There's many progressions that exist, and we'll show you a few of the most common ones, and some of them maybe that aren't so common, and get you used to the idea. Because if you understand how chord progressions work in songs that you love, then when you hear new songs, you might start to go, oh, I think I know what progression that was. And you run home to your piano and you try it out. It was, or maybe it was, maybe you got one of them wrong. But progressions start to stick after a while, and it becomes easier to learn new pieces when you start to recognize patterns and progressions that get used multiple times in different songs. It does actually happen. Okay, there's also a category here for Roman numerals. And wow, that one, I'm going to let you watch videos in there. I recommend doing that later on. That's why it's farther down the page, because Roman numerals kind of help us to understand where a chord fits within the key that it's in, because every chord has kind of a specific function that just fits and flows nicely and makes the progression work. But if we learn what the functions are of a song in one particular key, and we know what the Roman numerals are, then if someone comes along and says, oh, I'm glad that you've learned that song, but you know what? The singer needs us to play it higher. We got to play it in a key that's, 3 half steps higher. So, for example, if you learned something in the key of C and you knew that it was a 1 chord, a minor sixth, a major on the 4, major on the 5, and just do that over again. Well, if I know those same numbers in the key of E flat, then I can do it in E flat instead. 1 chord, minor 6, major 4, major 5, back to 1. Suddenly I know how to play that song in a different key. Roman numerals help you to be able to do that. If that's a little too advanced for you right now, don't sweat it. Wait till a little bit later to learn what the Roman numerals are. And as of right now, this is all the categories that I have, but I can tell already with the students that I've had sign on with my program that there are going to need to be some more categories added. There's people that want to learn about guitar. I'll put some guitar stuff in here as well, because I do know how to play both instruments. At the very bottom is the Q&A session archive, and this is where I will put videos. As of right now, we just got started on September the 20th, which is a Wednesday. We do all of our videos on a Wednesday. I might have to have other classes that sign up for different days. And anyway, every Q&A session that I do with people live, I record it on my Zoom channel, and then I upload it with timestamps so you can find information quickly. If there's a particular topic that we help somebody with, you can actually go look, and let's show that feature right now. Let's say you wanted to find a topic. If you just go in the search, all the content that I have in here is searchable. So let's just say, hey, is there a Joji song in here? And I just go like that. And then, yeah, there's a Joji song in here. That's just some random detail, okay? And let's just do one more quick search. What about, I want to know if there's seventh chords in here. Seventh chords. I just do a search, and boom, it pulls up everything that has to do with seventh chords. Now, seventh chords are affected when you're doing ninth and 11th chords, so that's why in the search results it brought up a couple of other things that will include seventh chords in the description. So everything that I put out is searchable, so that if you learn something, you've had a really good time with it, but you come back the next day and it's like, oh, where was it again? Just do a search. It'll take you right to where you probably left off if you've forgotten, and then you can look at other resources that might help, to bolster your knowledge just from a different angle as well. Because as you'll learn in music, there's so many skills that are transferable from one area to another, and I want you to think that way. Realize that if you spend time learning something, it's valuable not just for the song you've learned, but for the way you can transfer that knowledge to other places, and it still helps you. So I hope this has been helpful, and that you can see how to navigate around the actual app. And it probably will look similar if you view this on like a tablet or a phone. It'll just shrink it down, obviously, and you'll have to scroll more to find things. But anyway, this is generally how things are organized as of now. These categories, like I say, there will be more at the time that you watch this. There might be some more categories, but the layout will be very similar. And I'm going to strive to put what I think are the most important things near the top that I think beginners need to know, and the meatier, more in-depth topics will be farther down. And the song vault will be at the very bottom, just so it's easy to find the songs, and the Q&A sessions are right there. Those will probably stay as the second last and last item all the time. I won't mess this up for you, so you'll be able to find everything. Hope it's been helpful. If you have questions, you know how to find me on the app here. There is a community as well that you have access to. Let me show you that one quick here. Just got to go right here. So on the community page, this is the one I want you to use, where we're going to post questions. I just need to go to the community now. There we go. So you won't see the screens that I just showed you. That's my back end running things for my office. When you log in, for some reason it defaulted to the challenges. I'll put a challenge up once in a while, but I want you to look at the feed. You notice where my mouse was right here. Just click on the feed, and this is where people can post questions, and then I'll respond. Sometimes I'll respond with video. Sometimes I'll just respond with a just write out what I think the best answer is. But I can put links to YouTube videos that aren't shown anywhere else, but are just uniquely available here on the community. So I want you to feel like this is like your another social media channel where it's just all positive, all has to do with music and learning how to play your instrument and learning how to play songs better, and getting advice from me and other people who are also on this same journey with you, because we'll all learn so much faster if we work together and help each other. This isn't really a competitive place. This is we're here to support each other kind of a place, which is what I prefer and what I love. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you'll get most out of this program. Thanks for joining. If you're here on a 7-day trial, feel free to look at everything that's here and grow to love it, because I want you to stay after and pay to stay. But I wanted you to have an experience where you can see everything and how it works, and just try that out before you make that important purchase decision. Let's make sure that this is actually meeting your needs, and that the videos are very responsive for you, and present the material in a way that makes sense and is very practical and literally shows you where to put your fingers for everything. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.